Have your legs been feeling heavy lately? Like walking from the couch to the kitchen suddenly feels like you're wading through mud? Maybe it's not just age, maybe it's something you're missing, and no one's talking about it. You might be thinking, I get around fine, I've got a little stiffness, but nothing serious. But what if I told you that millions of older adults are unknowingly low on one specific vitamin that directly affects their leg strength, balance, and even how steady they feel when getting out of bed? It's not calcium, and it's not iron. Most folks overlook this one, but once you understand how important it is, you'll wonder why no one brought it up sooner. Let me ask you this. Have you noticed more leg cramps at night? Do your muscles feel weaker than they used to, even though your weight hasn't changed? Or maybe you started feeling a little more wobbly when going downstairs. These can all be subtle warning signs. And if you're over 60, there's a good chance this deficiency is already creeping in quietly, making everything feel a little harder day by day. In this video, we're going to talk about exactly what this vitamin is, why it's so essential for strong, steady legs, and what simple, everyday changes you can make to fix it naturally. The goal? Help you feel more stable, stronger, and confident when you walk, without complicated exercises or endless supplements. Let's start with something your legs have been trying to tell you, that sense of heaviness or weakness in the thighs and calves. It's not just from sitting too long. It often comes down to poor muscle activation, and this vitamin plays a key role in muscle contraction. When it's low, your muscles don't get the right signals. That means they don't fire properly, which makes every step feel like extra work. This is especially dangerous because it sets you up for slips and falls. And as we know, recovery at our age takes longer. Now, here's something surprising. This same vitamin also helps your nerves communicate better with your muscles. Think of it like the spark plug in a car. Without that spark, the engine won't start. Same thing with your legs. And yet, doctors don't routinely test for it unless you ask. Let me tell you about Helen. She's 72, lives alone, and used to walk to the market every weekend without a second thought. But a few months ago, she started feeling off. Her legs felt like jelly after walking just half a block. She figured it was just age catching up. But after talking with her nutritionist, they found her vitamin D levels were barely scraping the bottom. Once she began replenishing it properly, through sunlight, foods, and a specific supplement, her strength started returning. Now she's back to making those market trips on her own 2 feet. That's the kind of change we're talking about today. Yes, I said vitamin D. But wait, don't tune out just yet. This isn't the same old, get some sun and drink milk advice. There's more to it. And if you've been doing those things and still feel weak, it might not be enough. Vitamin D is involved in calcium absorption, but what most people forget is that it also supports your fast-twitch muscle fibers. Those are the ones that help with sudden movements, like catching yourself when you trip or standing up quickly. As we age, those fibers naturally shrink unless we give them what they need. Now, let's talk about something else that surprised me: inflammation. Low levels of vitamin D are linked to higher inflammation in the body, and inflammation eats away at your muscle function and increases fatigue. Ever feel tired for no reason, like you've been dragging yourself around all day even though you didn't do much? That's inflammation at work. And again, vitamin D is like your internal firefighter. It helps keep that fire from spreading through your joints and muscles. Here's where it gets even more interesting. Your body wants to make vitamin D naturally when you're in the sun. But as we get older, our skin becomes less efficient at converting sunlight into usable vitamin D. So even if you sit outside for 20 minutes a day, you still might not be making enough. And if you live in a colder climate or wear long sleeves often, that sunlight never gets through. Plus, many seniors avoid the sun because of skin cancer worries, which is smart, but it also puts you at higher risk for deficiency. That's why food and supplements become even more important. The first thing you can do? Get your levels tested. It's a simple blood test that can reveal a lot. You don't need to guess. And once you know where you stand, it's easier to make the right decisions. Now that we've unpacked how vitamin D affects your muscle strength and inflammation, let's go one step deeper. Because D doesn't work alone. There's another nutrient that needs to be in place for it to truly shine. And without it, your body can't absorb vitamin D properly. That's what we're diving into next. Earlier, we talked about how low levels of vitamin D can lead to weak legs, fatigue, and even a greater risk of falling. But here's something most people don't realize. Vitamin D doesn't work alone. In fact, If you've been taking a supplement and still don't feel any different, this next piece might explain why. Because without magnesium, vitamin D is like a key that doesn't fit the lock. That's right. Magnesium is your body's quiet helper behind the scenes. It activates vitamin D so your muscles, bones, and nerves can actually use it. And without enough magnesium, your vitamin D supplement might just be floating around doing very little. Unfortunately, studies show that a lot of older adults aren't getting enough magnesium either. That means many people think they're doing the right thing by taking vitamin D, but they're missing a critical piece of the puzzle. So how do you know if your magnesium levels are low? The signs are often subtle. Leg cramps, especially at night, are a big red flag. Muscle twitches, a racing heart when you're just sitting still, or that feeling of constant tension in your shoulders. These are little ways your body whispers for help before it starts shouting. The good news? You can turn this around with some simple changes. Foods like spinach, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and black beans are all magnesium rich. And if you're not eating much of those right now, even adding one of them into a daily meal can start tipping the scale in the right direction. I know one woman, Gloria, who swore her legs were just getting old. She'd stopped going to her gardening club because she couldn't stand long without her legs aching. When her daughter encouraged her to look into her vitamin D and magnesium levels, Gloria was skeptical, but sure enough, both were low. She started eating more greens and added a magnesium supplement, and within a few weeks, she was back outside with her sun hat and trowel, happier than ever. You might be wondering, what kind of supplement should I take, if any? And that's a smart question, because not all supplements are created equal. If you're taking vitamin D, make sure it's D3, not D2. D3 is the form your body uses more efficiently. And always check the label. Some vitamin D supplements now include magnesium, which makes it easier for your body to absorb and use both. But if they're separate, that's okay too. Just make sure you're not skipping the sidekick your body needs. Here's something else to keep in mind. Digestion slows down a bit as we age, which can make it harder to absorb nutrients from food alone. That's why being intentional, even just a little bit, can make such a big difference. Think of it like giving your body a little nudge in the right direction. And I want to pause here and say something important. This isn't about chasing perfection. It's not about suddenly turning your whole diet upside down or remembering to take 5 different pills every day. It's about tuning in, listening to what your body's been trying to tell you, and making small, manageable shifts that help you feel stronger, steadier, and more you again. Let's talk about movement for a moment, because it's closely tied to all of this. When your muscles are low on fuel, and yes, vitamins and minerals are fuel, even basic movements become harder. You may feel like your legs tire out faster, or you need to sit down after just a short walk. That's not a lack of willpower. That's your body saying it needs support. And when your legs feel unstable, guess what starts to happen? You move less. You avoid that extra trip to the mailbox. You stay seated when you used to stand. And that creates a slow, silent spiral. Less movement leads to more weakness, and more weakness makes you even more hesitant to move. But we're not here to give in to that spiral. We're here to reverse it. And the first step? Fueling your body with what it's truly craving. Not just calories, not just a daily walk, but the right nutrients that rebuild your legs from the inside out. We've talked about vitamin D, and now you know magnesium is just as important. But here's the thing, those two aren't the only ones playing a role in how strong your legs feel. There's another factor, and this one doesn't come in a capsule. It's something we do every day, sometimes without thinking, and yet it has the power to either help your legs feel stronger or make them feel worse. That's where we're headed next. Now, let's bring it all together, because up until now we've looked at the why this vitamin matters, why your body needs it, and what happens when it's low. But here's the part that most folks miss. Knowing isn't the same as doing. And doing just a little bit might not be enough if your body's been running on empty for years. So let's get real about what makes the biggest difference. You know how some people say they feel 10 years younger after they start walking more or stretching daily. That's not magic. That's momentum. And when it comes to this vitamin, momentum is exactly what you want. It doesn't fix things overnight, but it does rebuild you one layer at a time. See, the problem isn't just that you're low. The problem is that the low levels have quietly been chipping away at your balance, your strength, your confidence, until one day you hesitate to stand on one leg while putting on a sock, or you hold the rail tighter than you used to on the stairs. That's not just aging. That's a signal. Your body is whispering before it starts to scream. But here's the good news. When you get what's been missing, it responds. Let me tell you about Walter. He's 78, a retired firefighter, proud grandpa of 6, and a man who's never been afraid of hard work. But over the last year, he started avoiding his morning walks, not because of pain, but because he fell off balance. His legs didn't feel steady. He told me, "It's like my brain and my feet weren't on the same page anymore." He thought he was just getting old. But once his doctor discovered his vitamin D was way below normal, they put him on a consistent plan: sunlight, D3 supplements, and yes, a bit of magnesium to help it all stick. Fast forward 3 months. He's not only walking again, he's back to coaching his grandson's little lead team. The best part? He said he finally felt like himself again. You deserve to feel like yourself, too. Not like someone who's slowing down just because time is ticking. And if your legs have been feeling weak, wobbly, or unreliable, this might be the missing puzzle piece. And here's something even more exciting. Studies are now showing that when seniors restore their vitamin D levels consistently, not just once in a while, but over time, they're less likely to fall, break a hip, or suffer from chronic fatigue. That's powerful, because one fall can change everything. It's not just the injury, it's the fear that comes afterward, the hesitation, the second guessing, the what ifs that keep you sitting when you want to be moving. That's why this isn't just about numbers on a blood test. This is about freedom. Freedom to walk across the room without grabbing the wall. Freedom to play with your grandkids, dance in your kitchen, or simply take the stairs without worrying. Now, there's one more piece to this whole equation, a surprising one. It's something that's probably sitting in your pantry right now. Something that could actually be blocking your vitamin D from working properly without you even realizing it. You've likely been eating it for years, even though your muscles and bones aren't fans. That's what we're about to get into. So, let's talk about what might be working against all your best efforts. Because even if you're spending more time outside, taking a supplement and eating your greens, if this one sneaky habit is still in your routine, it could be holding you back more than you know. I'm talking about ultra-processed foods, especially ones high in phosphates like soda, packaged meats, and those salty box snacks that are so easy to grab. These can interfere with how your body uses calcium and vitamin D, which means they don't just add empty calories, they quietly mess with your bones and muscles too. Most people never connect the dots between their favorite fizzy drink and why their legs feel like jelly by 2 p.m. And look, I'm not saying you have to throw everything out or live like a monk. Life should still taste good. But if your legs are feeling weaker lately, just cutting back on processed snacks, skipping that second soda, or switching to a whole food version of something you already love can make a real difference. Your muscles are already doing their best. Give them better fuel. And if you're wondering what foods actually help your body absorb and use vitamin D, think salmon, sardines, egg yolks, mushrooms, and fortified oats or cereals. Not all of them will be your favorites, but even one serving a day can help nudge those levels in the right direction. Now, let's zoom out for a second, because this video isn't really about just one vitamin. It's about how your body changes over time and how you can change with it instead of just reacting to it. Weak legs aren't just a sign of aging. They're a signal from your body saying, "Hey, I need a little help down here." And when you listen early, you prevent bigger problems later. You don't have to do everything all at once. That's the beauty of this. Small, steady shifts, adding a bit more sunshine to your morning routine, choosing whole foods more often, checking your vitamin D levels once a year. Those things stack up. They create momentum. And momentum is what brings you back to feeling strong again. Maybe right now, your legs ache after a short walk. Or maybe you're afraid of slipping in the shower. But what if that wasn't your new normal? What if the weakness wasn't permanent? What if you could actually undo some of it? Because the truth is, you can. You have more power than you think. And age doesn't take that away. In fact, age gives you the wisdom to know what's worth your energy. Feeling strong, steady, and confident in your body, that's always worth it. So if today's message hit home, even just a little, start small. Go outside and soak up 15 minutes of sun. Swap one processed snack for a piece of fruit or a handful of nuts. Ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels next time you're in. These aren't big things, but they're the kind of things that make the biggest difference over time. And most of all, don't lose hope just because your legs feel different than they used to. That's not weakness. That's just your body asking for support. And now that you know what to do, you can give it what it needs. If this video spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you struggled with leg weakness? Have you tried changing your vitamin D intake? Let's support each other, because you're not alone on this journey. And hey, if you found this helpful, go ahead and tap that like button. It helps more people like you find this kind of content. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe. We're building a community of older adults who are taking back control of their health, one smart choice at a time. Remember, strength doesn't come from lifting weights. It comes from lifting yourself up every day. And you're doing that just by being here. Here's to living strong, standing tall, and walking forward one step at a time. You've got this.